Yes.
I told her, I said, the proof is in the pudding. Let's go get the DNA.
So this is the DNA test, and it says the probability of relatedness is 96.7%.
That's my granddaughter. If she's nothing else, she's my granddaughter.
So for years, whispers have swirled about Janet Jackson and her brief marriage to James Debarge, claiming that the two had a secret child during the 1980s, a child that Janet was allegedly forced to give away.
Do you have a secret sister?
I believe I do have a sister out there.
Did you ever see Janet where you thought she was pregnant?
Yes. When the marriage was annulled, that Janet was pregnant. And James believed that as well.
Well, now things are heating up again. Could it be that family secrets are finally bubbling to the surface? Was Janet pressured to give up a child at the height of her career? Is James back with the narrative that he had a child with Janet?
If it's true, you'll find out when she's ready for you to find out.
Baby, one thing I can tell you for certain is that in the 80s, Janet just had the weirdest choices in men, and they always landed her in problems. See, before Janet dated James, her previous relationship was with Magic Johnson. In 1983, when Janet attended the American Music Awards in Los Angeles, she was photographed with the high-profile basketball player. And when I say photographed, I mean there was a photo where Magic Johnson was seen wrapping his arms around Janet, while in another one, they were seen locking lips. At the time of the picture, Magic was 24 years old, while Janet was 16 years old. And for those who recall, when those photos resurfaced in 2020, there was a whole conversation about what Janet really went through growing up. I mean, if a 24-year-old was locking lips with her in public when she was 16, can you imagine what was going on behind the scenes? Anyway, soon after this is when she began dating James Debarge, who she married and eloped with at the age of 18 in 1984. As for why Janet decided to get married when she was so young, it was said that she saw that marriage as a way of escaping her father, Joe Jackson, who was a control freak. Unsurprisingly, Joe was not happy about Janet's marriage and did all he could to put a stop to it. Well, the marriage didn't last anyway because James had issues with substances, and Janet found herself in a very difficult position as his caretaker and would get called out to pick him up or go out to find him all the time. According to Janet, she would find the pills in the house and she would take them and try to flush them down the toilet, and they would be rolling around on the floor fighting for them. And remember, when she was going through all this drama, she was just 18. Honey, that was even bigger drama than Janet eloping with James. Word on the street was that she had a baby with the man and either lost the baby or gave it away. But if you ask Janet about the baby, she will totally tell you that you were out of your mind and there was never any baby. But here's where it gets interesting. People who were around that time and fans of the Debarge family and Janet say they remember seeing photos of Janet with James, and she looked at least 5-6 months pregnant, but there was no announcement of a baby. Others also say that they remember when Janet and her brothers were presenting at the American Music Awards and Janet was on stage with a big belly. Apparently, Tito took his jacket and held it over his arm to block her stomach from the camera, but they could still see her belly. One person even said that her aunt worked at the convalescent hospital the Jacksons' grandmother was residing at in the 80s, and she said that Janet was pregnant when she saw her come in, and she doesn't know if she lost the baby or was hiding the baby, but she said Janet was for sure pregnant. Child, if there's one person who definitely believes that a baby existed, it's the supposed father, James Debarge. He first shared the story of the existence of a child with Michael Jackson's death doctor, Conrad Murray, in an explosive prison letter in 2012. And ever since, he's continued to speak out about the possibility of a Jackson Debarge heir. Allegedly, he still insists to date that the baby existed, and he won't let it go. But as far as what Janet herself said, she also insisted in her documentary that there was no way she could have a baby and hide the baby from her father.
They were saying that I had a child and I kept it secret. How could I keep a child from their father? I could never do that. That's not right.
According to her, what happened was that people first began speculating that she was pregnant on the set of the TV show Fame in 1984. And she said that she had started taking oral contraceptives, which at the time were linked with increases in appetite and fluid retention due to higher levels of the hormones estrogen and progestin. So a lot of the kids thought she was pregnant because she had gained weight after she started taking birth control pills. In the documentary, Janet also detailed how the fake news morphed into different salacious stories, including that she gave the secret baby girl that she never had to one of her siblings, Rebe, to raise as her own. She also talked about the rumor that her brother Jackie's child, Brandy, who was adopted in 1982, was the secret baby, and also about how at one point there was speculation that Randy's daughter, Stevana, was her baby as well due to their resemblance.
First they were saying my niece Brandy was my daughter, and then I gave it to Jackie to raise. And then, because because Randy's daughter looks so much like me. Then they started saying it was Savannah.
In addition, Janet said that she had bigger problems during her brief marriage to James Debarge, which was his addiction. She even recalled their very unromantic wedding night, saying, "When we got married and came back to the hotel, he said, 'Okay, I'll be right back.' I'm sitting in the hotel room in Grand Rapids, Michigan by myself, just 18, and for 3 hours, he never came back. That's not a life for anyone. I saw the good in him as well, and I just wanted to take that precedence as opposed to his ugliness. Plus, I knew that he needed help, but I wasn't the help that he needed." Well, there were people who were also on her side, like her co-star Debbie Allen, who appeared in the 2-part documentary, and she reflected on the rumor, saying, "These were rumors that were just flying around, honey, like hash in a diner. Where's the baby? Nobody saw a baby. I mean, she was there with us all day, every day. Where was the baby?" You know, even with Janet addressing the rumor, a lot of people were like, "Did you see how her wording was extremely strange? Did you notice how she cried when speaking of James? She didn't burst into tears over any of the other exes. Plus, she didn't exactly say the words, 'she did not have a baby.' She just said that keeping the child from James would not be right." And regardless of what Janet said, apparently James and his family members still said that they believed that the child existed and was hidden from them. I mean, even James Debarge's own daughter, Christina Debarge, added fuel to the fire in a revealing moment where she confessed that she truly believes she has a secret sister out there.
I'm sure he feels betrayed. I'm sure he feels sad. I'm sure he feels disappointed. I'm sure he feels like he was robbed of that relationship with his daughter. But at the same time, I know my dad loves Janet till this day, and he doesn't want to hurt her.
Now pause. Why would she believe that unless there's something she knew? I mean, Christina's quiet but confident belief suggested she was not just guessing. She must have known something, a feeling, a family whisper, a hidden photo. Well, Christina Debarge openly said that she would love to meet the sister she believes exists, and she expressed not only her belief in the long-standing rumor, but also suggested that Janet's powerful family may have played a significant role in the alleged decision to give the baby away. She even hinted that with that kind of influence, it's entirely possible that the truth was buried to protect Janet's rising career.
I know that her family had a huge influence on her, and you know, if she was pregnant, the only thing that I can think of was that they felt that she still had a very long career ahead of her, and they didn't want anything to hinder that.
And guess what? Other than Christina, James' sister Bunny also said that she saw Janet's pregnancy. According to Bunny, Janet was pulled out of the spotlight, and when she returned, the bump was gone. But no baby was ever seen. Honestly, between Christina's deep belief in a secret sibling and Bunny's shocking claims of witnessing Janet's pregnancy firsthand, it's becoming way too much of a coincidence to ignore. As a matter of fact, I remember some time back, Daryl Debarge, James's brother, also did a radio interview. And just like the other family members, he said the child exists. Even James Debarge's own mother believed there was a child. And she took things a step further by participating in a DNA test with a woman named Tiffany White, who claimed to be Janet and James' secret daughter. Well, later on, another DNA test proved that James was not Tiffany's father. But even then, James still said that he would not give up on the search because he knew there was a baby. Word on the street is that James is still hoping to find his child, or at least get to know the truth about what really happened. Because some people also say that they believe Janet had a miscarriage or stillbirth, and she refuses to talk about it, which is fine because it's her life, and digging up old wounds like that can be difficult. But could it be that the Jackson family orchestrated a cover-up to protect Janet's image? Was she forced to give up the baby? Did she even have the baby? Is it possible that all the members of the Debarge family are liars? Child, this entire secret baby story is just nuts, but I would love to know what you think. So sound off in the comments section down below.